Hello, welcome to this month's Safety Hot Topic video. My name is Joshua Webb. This month we'll be discussing domestic violence. Domestic violence, domestic abuse, or family abuse all refer to violence that occurs within intimate partnerships or a shared home. Domestic violence can take many forms. It can be physical, so things like slapping, hitting, punching, as well as any kind of physical contact intended to cause fear or harm. Things like sleep deprivation, forced alcohol or drug use. Sexual abuse, it can be financial, so forcing somebody to sell a valuable possession or forcing a parent to change their will. It can also be emotional, so humiliating a partner, publicly degrading them, stalking them, anything designed to humiliate or cause very severe, distressing emotions. On average, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experience severe intimate partner physical violence. Victims of domestic violence are overwhelmingly women, and women generally experience the most violent forms of abuse. However, men are abused at significant rates as well. There is great stigma and shame that prevents men from reporting their abuse, and domestic violence in general is one of the most underreported crimes worldwide. On a typical day, domestic violence hotlines receive over 20,000 calls, but we saw that number drop during the COVID-19 pandemic, which is especially concerning once you consider that domestic violence is one of the most underreported crimes worldwide. Prior to the 1850s, violence within the home was seen as a largely private matter, and courts and law enforcement didn't really get involved. It wasn't until the late 19th century that consequences for perpetrators of domestic violence began to be established. Now we have everything from protective orders to jail time designed to keep victims safe. We should note that protections globally don't necessarily look the same way as they do here in the United States. In countries with greater gender inequality, for example, forms of domestic violence are much more prevalent and much more socially acceptable. If you are concerned that somebody you know might be in a harmful or dangerous relationship, here are some signs that you can look out for. Bruises, scratches, or other marks on the torso area, and especially if you notice them happening frequently. Increased isolation or withdrawal from family and friends. Fearfulness, as well as increased substance use are all signs of domestic violence. Once you notice that somebody you know is in a violent relationship and you decide that you want to help them, here are some steps that you can take. First, believe and support them. Don't judge them. It takes, on average, 7 times for a victim of domestic violence to actually leave the relationship for good. Be understanding. There are a lot of factors that keep people in unhealthy relationships, including dependence, fear, a normalization of the abuse, lack of resources, and children. Help them find shelters, social services, attorneys, counselors, and support groups that can help them find solutions. Help them prepare a go bag and a safe place to go once they do finally decide to leave their relationship. And do not blame or pressure the victim to do anything that they are not ready for. There are many resources available to people experiencing domestic violence and those that want to help. There is the National Domestic Violence Hotline, the Houston Area Women's Center, and as always, Crime Stoppers of Houston. If you are in a violent relationship or you know somebody that is, you can always submit an anonymous tip at 713-222-TIPS. Visit our Domestic Violence Resource Center to find out more information on our Houston area prevention partners, as well as resources and tips to keep yourself safe. Visit www.crime-stoppers.org.